Hello, my name is Jacob Kelter, and I'm part of the NetLogo team. And this is a video introduction for how to use the NetLogo forum, which is a place for people to ask and answer questions and have discussions about NetLogo. The link to the forum is in the description, and I'm going to be going over a bunch of the major features of the forum, and those will be timestamped in the description as well, so you can look down there and see if there's a specific topic you want to skip ahead to or find in the future. So this is what the homepage of the forum looks like. The main way that the forum is organized is around categories. So there's a bunch of categories here, and if you click into these, you'll see questions that people have asked or discussions that people have started within these categories. So feel free to look around those before you even have created an account. You can also search. And there's also tags. So in addition to being in a category, posts can be tagged with various extra information. So you can search by tags as well if you want to do that. Over here we have the latest posts. And so you can read posts without having to create an account, but if you want to make a post or reply, then you'll need to create an account, which you can do for free with the sign up button. And I already have an account, so I'm going to just log in here. And once you've logged in, the interface is going to look pretty much the same, but there's going to be a button here that says new topic, or if you're in the middle of one like I just was, it will say open draft and you can continue that topic. So this is how you make a new post. It'll open up an interface here. You type the title, you can pick a category, you can pick optional tags, and you put the body of the message. And if you're on the home page, it's going to default to the miscellaneous category. Actually, that might change in the future, but it'll default to some category. But if you're inside of one of these categories and you click new topic, then it's going to default to whatever category you're inside of. So we recommend trying to get as specific with the category as possible. So let's say I want to ask a programming Q&A question. So it'll now be here, general Q&A and programming. And let's say I was asking about how to plot a histogram. So I would type that here. If it's your first time posting, you might get a welcome message, or sometimes you'll get other messages over here depending on what you've typed that are trying to be helpful. You can always X those out, but they really are helpful sometimes. And then you can add any optional tags. So you can just start typing a tag. If it exists already, it'll pop up and you can click it. Otherwise, you can just create a tag if there's some other information you want to add. And then you type the body of your question. For example, how do I plot a histogram of the x coordinates of turtles? And over here, it will show a preview of what this is going to look like. So if you're typing something other than just plain text, for example, bullets, then those over here will show up like this, but over here they'll show up like this. This is what it will actually look like. And the way I'm doing those over here is using something called Markdown, which you don't need to know because these buttons here will help you out with that. So for example, bolding something, you surround the words in 2 asterisks, but you don't need to remember that because there's this button, and then you can see over here that that is bolded. So that's how you create a new topic. And then if you want to interact with existing questions, let's say I went and look at this question. So you can reply to existing questions, and it's pretty much the same, except you don't have to fill out the title and the category information because you're replying to something that already has that information. And you can reply to the original message or any of the other messages. And there's a few other ways that you can interact with messages. You can like them. You can copy a link to a post if you want to link to it somewhere else. You can also flag a post if you think it's inappropriate for some reason for the moderators to look at. And you can bookmark a post if you want to come back to it. So for example, I've bookmarked this one. And so if I go over here to my bookmarks, this post shows up here. If I click on that, it brings me back here. So if there's some post with information that you think you'll want to come back to, you can bookmark it. A couple other things about posting. So like I said, try to get as specific as you can when you're posting a new topic with the category. But if you don't get it right the first time, you can always change this after you've posted, or the moderators might suggest a change, so don't stress about it. And for other tips, go ahead and read this post here that's linked at the top. And there's some tips here for writing good posts or writing good questions. Okay, so over here, now we're moving on to notifications. When you click this little circle up here, which will have the first letter of your username, or if you've uploaded a profile picture, it'll have your profile picture. And there's various types of notifications here. For example, general notifications, if you have any liked messages, if you have any private messages, so you can have private messages, also chats. So that's more like an instant message, and a private message is more like an email to somebody within the forum. Bookmarks we already talked about. And so if I click on somebody's profile, this is how you can send a private message or start an instant message chat if you're online at the same time. And then down here are various things about your profile. So if I click on these, this takes to a new page that shows similar information as what's in this, but just on a full page. You can look at these various activity and notifications, but we're going to focus on the preferences. So there's various things you can do here, such as changing things about your account, your profile. You can add some stuff about yourself if you want and make your profile look a little nicer. Security stuff around passwords. And then the most important ones here are emails and tracking. So emails is how you decide what you want to be emailed about for the forum. And so there's some preferences here about personal messages and when you're mentioned, and then getting activity summaries. So I have it set here so that every day I will get a summary of all the things that have been posted on the forum that day, but you can change that to if you want it once a week or once a month or whatever. And alternative to that, you can do mailing list mode. If you want to get a separate email for every single post and then be able to reply to those posts right from your email, then you can do mailing list mode. If you're coming from the NetLogo users Google group and you like how that interaction is, you might want to do this because it will function in a similar way. Along with the emails, you want to set your tracking settings. So by default, nothing here will be selected. But if you want to only watch certain categories, meaning you'll only get notified about certain categories and those will get put in your daily or weekly summary emails, you can select which categories you want to watch. You can also select if you only want to get the first post but not get notified about replies. And you can also mute certain categories if you want those categories to be muted. And don't worry about tracked. That's just related to whether or not on the home page it's going to tell you how many new topics there are. So I would just leave that on the default. And then on tags, similar thing, you can watch tags, watch only the first post with a tag, and mute certain tags. Notifications have to do with when you're actually have the forum open, what you're getting notified about, and getting notified here within the forum as opposed to emails. And there's some things here around users. You can mute certain users if you want. And then there's some interface settings such as changing the color scheme. There's some dark color schemes. So if you want to change the look and feel, there's some things you can do here to do that, along with the navigation menu and your chat settings. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions about the forum, feel free to post them here in the meta discussion category. And I hope you will join us here on the forum and share your questions, your answers, and any other ideas you have about NetLogo.